Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Made Podcast. I'm your host, Chloe Trca. I cannot believe this is the 52nd episode of my podcast, a full year. It's been a little over a year because I had a few weeks where I missed, but a full year of the Self-Made Podcast. I cannot believe it because it's really ironic that it's my 2023 recap, my reflection on it, and we kind of go over my goals. Because last episode was like a reflection and what it taught me, but this is going to be me going over my goals, evaluating them, and then I'm going to be sharing with you guys my new goals for the new year, which is just so full circle because it's like the anniversary of a new year and the anniversary of a new podcast season, and that's so special the way it timed out. I'm so excited because 2023, if you guys listened to the last episode, it taught me a lot. It was definitely a transformative year for me. A lot of like self-reflection, a lot of like realizations. I feel like I just kind of slowed down in life and actually like understood what was happening, and I feel like I kind of got a grasp for a lot of like life lessons, and it just wasn't so chaotic. I feel like I kind of understood the messages life was giving me, so that was really cool. But I also accomplished a lot, and I didn't realize how much I accomplished until going through my goals and stuff from last year, which I'm a huge component of writing goals. And I did an episode, it was right around my birthday, I think, and it was like the 6-month reflection, and we went over kind of how I was doing on all of them, and now we're gonna check in again because I think that's the most important thing when you're creating goals, is to check in on them and make sure you're still like holding yourself accountable to the goals that you're setting. So it's easy to write goals, but I think the hardest thing is achieving them, but then also ensuring that you're on the right path, because there was a few that I hadn't really gotten into back in like June, July, and I was like, okay, like kind of focus and let's attack these for the rest of the year. And now we're here, Christmas is in a few days, like it's almost 2024, it's wild. And yeah, I think this episode actually uploads on Christmas, so Merry Christmas if you're listening to it on Christmas. Most of you probably are not because it's Christmas, but yeah, first off, I'm just so thankful too for all of you guys who listen week by week and follow me and support me, and I just think that's so cool. And the fact that I've been doing this a year, podcasting, is like absolutely insane to me. I feel like I can really connect with you guys on my podcast, and it's so special to me. It's like my safe space, but also I feel like it gives me an opportunity to like connect with you guys so well, and I'm very vulnerable and open on here. And I think it's cool because I wish I would have maybe had that connection growing up, just listening to more other people's like advice and their experiences and stuff. I think it would have taught me a lot of these lessons sooner. But then again, timing is everything, and I learned them when I needed to learn them in life. So anyway, let's get into the reflection of 2023. Okay, so the things that I wanted to learn about this year, there was kind of a variety of different topics, I would say. And the first one was hormone health. So do I think I learned about hormone health? Yes. Did I actively, I guess, engage myself in healing my hormones? No, but I definitely took a lot of good cautionary steps towards that. I began seed cycling a bit this year, and I tried that, but again, my cycle is really, this might be TMI, we're starting off with an interesting one, but my cycle is definitely touch and go. It's something I'm figuring out right now, and I'm actually like on hormonal birth control. I have the IUD, and I want to get it taken out. I was actually going to do that while being home, but I just never got around to it. But I do want to get off it because I have my Aura ring, which I also love, and it tracks my cycle through natural cycles. But you can't necessarily track your cycle when you have hormonal birth control because it's not a real cycle. So I've learned a lot about it though, and I just became more aware of like the issues that birth control can cause, and just the cause and effects of taking care of your hormones and your cortisol and all of that and your inflammation. And it's been very eye-opening, I would say, definitely eye-opening, but I'm excited to kind of take more steps this year in bettering that for myself and trying to regulate my cycle, and just doing it with a more holistic health approach. And then another thing I wanted to get into was real estate. I didn't really dive into this that much this year as I'd hoped, but it's also due to the fact that I ended up kind of going a different route in general with like where I thought I was going to go in my life. I thought I was going to be staying here in Iowa, and I wanted to buy a property and kind of make that as an investment property. But I ended up renting 2 homes this year, so kind of went the opposite direction, but it was definitely beneficial because I understood more about the process of like purchasing properties due to the fact that Taylor, the house that I'm in right now, Taylor and I, my roommate, live in, and I'm actually moving out right this weekend. But I got to go through the whole process of like looking at houses, and her dad's a realtor, so he like helped us with that. But I definitely learned a lot about like the market and looking for homes what to look for. It taught me a lot, and I'm really grateful and thankful for that. And I think that was cool because it was a lesson without even me realizing it until I was reflecting. And I'm like, no, like that actually was a really good experience for me. And I absolutely adore this house, and it was such a good pick. And it might come back, you know, in 6 months to a year, who knows? She does have a new roommate moving in, and some of my stuff will still be here because when I come back to Iowa, we made an arrangement and I'm pretty much keeping my stuff here. And then also having a place here when I can stay here when I'm back home. Like it's a big house, it's 3 floors. So, but yeah, I'll be in Arizona full time, but also too, I learned a lot about real estate and properties just moving from Iowa to Arizona and apartment hunting and touring and doing all of that. I booked all the tours, went to the different apartments, learned a lot about just the process of like what a good property has and what it doesn't have and what I prioritize and look for, especially in a new city. That was really scary, in a good way. It taught me so much, it kind of forced me into it. So I definitely think I learned a lot about real estate, just not necessarily the route that I thought I would take. And then the third one that I wanted to kind of begin doing or learn more about was meditation. I went through a phase at the beginning of the year that I was very much into it, but I definitely think this year I kind of transitioned my meditation more into prayer, and I'm not upset about that either. I think focusing on meditation at the beginning of the year taught me how to kind of like quiet my mind and be peaceful and just kind of be like one with myself. And I think some people, I feel like, try to get in tune with like a higher spirit or a higher power rather than meditate. So I guess I more so pray. But again, I still don't pray enough. I still don't meditate enough or whatever. I want to implement that more into my life, but I've understood the power of it. And just slowing down and doing all of that, it's definitely been beneficial in so many ways. So it's funny because a lot of these, like, I did, but I did it kind of in a different direction. And I think that's the cool thing about life is you think you're going one avenue, but you're going a completely other way. But it's the way that I believe God intends you to go and take. So I have no regrets in any of this. Like, if I didn't achieve a goal, most of the things that I like actually were like a checklist thing I did achieve. But little things like this, it's like I'm not super upset that I didn't meditate a lot because now I can reflect and kind of make up where I could have improved on. But I definitely think that prayer is more of my meditation, but also too, exercising is a form of meditation for me. Like when I run, I can really clear my mind. And it's funny when we say clear my mind because it's not like I empty my mind. It's just I actually take the time of non-distractedness and I process my thoughts. And I do clear my mind because it's like I can work myself through everything that I'm thinking in my head that I kind of like build up and store up in my head. But yeah, so that was good. And I definitely feel like I learned how to be a lot more grateful and have more gratitude throughout my day. And like each moment, I don't know what the flip was, but I think it might be becoming closer with God. It might be just being more in tune with myself this year. But I do that a lot more often. Like I have a lot of gratitude, I feel like, in a day-to-day. I mean, I can always improve, and I'm sure I can have a lot more, but like from where I used to be, I definitely like, have seen so much improvement. Like it's all about the little things. Like they say, like the art of noticing. I feel like I really do that a lot. Like I'll notice the beauty in like super simple small things that I used to just kind of over glance and not realize, or just like conversations and experiences and stuff I really am grateful for, and I like really soak up and like enjoy in the moment, and I'm so glad for that. And then the last one, and on my list of things that I wanted to learn about this year and begin doing, it was using Sundays as like a reset day, which is really funny because I wrote this list when I was like fresh out of college. I was newly post-grad, and I was nervous that I would be a workaholic and work all the time and not give myself a break. And this year I definitely learned that, but it took me the thing is I knew it was an issue, but I still was like doing it, and it was just really hard for me to make that change. And I've talked about it, I feel like, a lot on this episode. I made a whole podcast on like, you're doing too much. But it really took until my brother was like, you're doing too much, Chloe. And I was kind of, I guess, becoming more educated on a lot of like other successful business people. And they also were like, you think you can do so many things, but like focus on one thing and become like so good at one thing. Like it's crazy to think you can be amazing at 10 things when if you could take all that energy and pour it into one thing rather than spread it across 10, you know? And so I guess that's kind of like the approach that I take within doing too much, but then also to like just understanding that we need a break, and God literally tells us to rest. And so I really, I guess, learned that and incorporated it into my life because of other reasons rather than just telling myself to do it because I knew I needed to do it. I guess I finally found reasons as to why I needed to do it, and that's God. And just overall the success of it and like the benefits of it. So yeah, I definitely think I still need to work on it, but I do think I'm a lot better about it. And now we're gonna move into the things that I wanted to accomplish in 2023. And this is exciting because this is when I was writing it down. I'm like, okay, like Chloe, you did a lot better than you were expecting, or I like even assumed that I did. And the first one was investments. I wanted to begin investing. Again, I have like a financial advisor, and I'm not gonna go into super nitty gritty details because that's not really my like what I'm about. I don't really talk about like money investing, but I definitely began investing into certain things this year, which is good. I have a better understanding about a lot of that stuff, but I definitely can improve in that area and do more. I'm finally at a point in my life, I feel like 22, I have money in the bank, and I need to like begin making choices with that money. And like I thought I was going to kind of invest in a property. That's maybe not so much what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll invest in a business in 2024. I don't know, but I want to do something with what I have now. So yeah, another goal I had was to create merch or just clothing in general and do another launch. And I did accomplish that. I accomplished that early in the year. I think in April I had my merch drop, the self-made hoodies. And that was really cool. I feel like that's such a good experience for me because I get to be so creative and do things that I don't typically do every day. Like I really like the process of designing and watching something go from a sketch to like in real life. Like that was really, really cool. And then also making it something impactful that each person could have their own like message and like purpose with, because everyone can be self-made in their own way. And so yeah, it's really cool to see people like wearing my hoodies or my t-shirts. Oh my god, I said my self-made hoodie, no, my self-made t-shirt for like the bump cover. It's just really cool to like see people wearing that to the gym, and I feel like it kind of gives them like a purpose in the gym, and hearing like the stories that people will go up and like talk to them about, and it's really cool. Like it's way more than the shirt. Like the shirt really wasn't like the main reason that I did that. It's all the other reasons that come along with it, and I think it's really special, and I'm proud of myself for doing that because one, it's like a lot and it's not something I'm very like specialized in, so it takes a lot of like research and it's a process. But yeah, I was glad, and there may be more merch in the future, who knows, more so maybe just clothing rather than merchandise, like personal merch, but we'll see. And then another thing I wanted to do was move into a new place. I had that I own, so I didn't necessarily purchase and buy a property like I said, but I did move twice and one time across the country. So I've been in 3 different homes this year, which is crazy. I lived alone in an apartment for like 2 years, and that was really benefited me a lot. Like I learned a lot about living on my own and being on my own. And then like I said before, I mentioned this, but I definitely think it was at a point in my life where I wanted roommates again. I wanted to kind of like co-live with somebody and just have people around, because I'm kind of introverted. I can kind of like function on my own a lot, and so having people around, my 2 like best friends, my brother and Taylor, was really, really nice and refreshing, and I needed that. And it's definitely, living with them has like opened my eyes, one, to just like living with my brother, one, we've gotten so much closer and I've learned so much more about him, but like I also learned more about myself living with people, believe it or not. And like Taylor, like I've just learned how to like enjoy life a little bit more and just be more present and like have fun and let loose a little bit rather than being so workaholic. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And another thing I wanted to accomplish that I did was launch an ebook. I just did that about a month or 2 ago, my dessert recipe ebook. That was so much fun. That was probably my favorite project I've ever done because it was a process, let me tell you. But like that's just like my passion. I love being in the kitchen, I love getting creative. I love creating fun recipes and taste testing them, and I love like food photography, like all of it, the whole process of it is so much fun for me. So that was really cool, and I definitely think there'll be more to come in that, I would say, area. I might do one that's not necessarily recipes, but more so like an actual meal kind of ebook. So maybe that will be in 2024, but that was really fun and I'm proud of myself for doing that. And then another one was run a half marathon, and I did do that. I ran my first half marathon early April. Whole podcast episode on running. I talked about that a lot this year on here, I feel like. And running has just become a huge part of my life, and it's been really, really cool because I've also been able to incorporate into a lot of the people in my life as well. Like Taylor's running a half marathon with me in a few weeks. We have one in Tempe coming up, and then I'm running another one with my friend Caitlin Miller, who was on my podcast about a month or 2 ago. So I've been able to like make friends through it. One of my best friends down in Arizona, Julie, ran her first half marathon. We were gonna run it together, and then I couldn't make it work. But she ran it, and I was so proud of her, and it really transformed her life and her relationship with herself. And my brother started running, and it's just been really cool. And all of the messages from you guys who say I inspired you to start running, like, it blows my mind. A girl I met actually at my gym in Arizona, I think she's a listener, so if you're listening, hi girl. But she said she started running with her friend, and I'm like, that just makes me so happy, because to know that I can impact people and like put them out of their comfort zone, and then they can learn like the benefit of it and love it, is so cool to me. So yeah, that was definitely, running a half marathon was amazing. And I have 2 more to come early this year. Maybe we'll train for a full marathon, maybe I'll do a triathlon. I don't know what's next, but really excited about that. And then my last goal for things I wanted to accomplish was just to continue traveling, and I definitely did that. I traveled not as much in 23 that I did in 2022, but I just didn't need, I feel like 2022 I really, like, for the first time got away from home and met new people, and traveling benefited that a lot. This year I feel like I didn't need to travel as much to do the things that I wanted to accomplish, but I still traveled a lot. Like I've been to Cabo, I moved to Arizona. I feel like that kind of, since I moved, I don't travel as much except for back and forth, just because I like being home, and I feel like I'm never home. I'm always going back and forth. But I went to all places like Cabo. Where else did I go? I can't even think. I went to Texas, I think, LA. I've been to California like 2 or 3 times. I've been all over the place this year, and it's been really fun and really amazing. And traveling is just something that'll always be on my list, because you can learn so much and see so many new places. And yeah, I'll never quit traveling. But the places I went this year it was cool. They were definitely for different experiences as well, like more than like last, I would say, in 22. But yeah, so now we're gonna kind of get into like mindset changes that I made this year. And we'll kind of go over how I did on that, because I feel like this is the one area where I didn't necessarily like accomplish every single thing, but I definitely learned different things within that, if that makes sense. So the first mindset change that I wanted to kind of incorporate into this year was having like a healthy Monday through Friday routine. Do I think I did this? Yes and no. I feel like this is the one I did a little bit fail at, just because I'm not perfect at it. I definitely work through the weekends, but it's just hard. It's hard with my job and what I do to have very structured, because I like to take advantage of my flexibility. So sometimes during the middle of the week, I'll like schedule an appointment or a coffee with friends, and it's like, I used to feel so guilty about that and feel like I shouldn't be doing that. But I'm like, also, Chloe, you have the career that you do and the life that you do, like, take advantage of that, because that's like, why would you not want to do that if you have the opportunity to do so? So I've definitely kind of like shifted my perspective. I don't need to work a 9 to 5 like everyone, because that isn't my life. Like, that's not realistic for me. And so sometimes I will have to work a little bit on the weekends when I can. And sometimes things come up and I have to take advantage of something in the moment. So really, I think I've realized that I don't need to have a healthy Monday through Friday routine. I just need to have a healthier routine with working and not working, and being okay with not working maybe halfway through a Tuesday, you know, but then being okay with having to work a little bit on a Saturday or a Sunday. And just understanding that I need to have like better, I feel like, restrictions with it and control. I would just say control in general. And that's another big aspect of my life, is just self-control. But yeah, I just feel like it doesn't have to be like a don't work at all on the weekends and work. Like, if I want to work, I'm gonna. But if I don't want to work, like, be okay cutting back a little bit and taking advantage of something else going on. And I think I've gotten better at that in the last like month, I would say, definitely. But yeah. And then the next mindset change that I wanted to make this year was getting more comfortable with networking and meeting new people. I definitely think I've done a great job with this. I'm much more confident with myself and meeting new people, especially since moving. I think that really forced it out of me, because this was the first time that, like, previously in 2022, I met so many new friends through social media, and we go to events and then meet people, and that put me in a hole. That was scary in general, but then I feel like I got good at that. But the thing is with that, it's like, I was already friends with them. We have so many common and like so many similarities and common connections that we can talk about. It's easy, because those people are literally my online friends. And so this year it was a lot different, just because I feel like a lot of the people that I've met this year have been complete strangers. I had to meet all new people in Arizona. I didn't know anyone going there. I have 2 really great friends. And I also just like, even dating and stuff, it's funny, but it's like I had to go meet like new boys. I've like gone on a few first dates, and that was really scary. But then I've like sat in some like business meetings and stuff this year that were really intimidating. But I've just like faced a new level of like networking and connections this year, and I'm proud of myself for that because it's scary. And I wouldn't regret it though. Like I've met some of my best friends through that. I've met some great guys and people that I would previously just be too scared to go and meet, and I learned a lot about myself and those people through that. Whether they worked out or not, like that doesn't really matter, just because I still have like the courage to go and try it. And previously I would have never had the courage to do that, and I would have just like Snapchatted them or something, you know, like that's easy to do, but like actually getting the courage to go on a date, I could do a whole episode on dating and dates and stuff. But yeah, and then also too, just even being on social media, I can also always improve that and everything in that radar of like outsourcing and networking, connecting. Like I can always grow, like you can always meet new people, but I definitely think I made a transformative like leap within that aspect this year, which I'm very happy about. And then another mindset change was finding and understanding the lesson in everything. I would say 100% yes, I accomplished this year. I've never been more understanding of life's curveballs. I make a joke about, and it's funny, but I like to joke. I think that's how I like cope with things, is like I just laugh it off, because it's really like in the grand scheme of things, nothing's that serious. At least I don't take anything that serious. And so a lot of things that don't go right, I just laugh about, and then I sit and I kind of reflect and I think, and I'm a huge talker. I've learned that about myself recently too, especially since living with Taylor and Jake. I'm like, wow, I really do talk a lot because I'm always talking. Before, I just didn't think I talked that much because I had no one to talk to because I lived alone. But I'm a chatty girl, and I thought it was just when I was on social media or on a camera, but it's like, no, in general, I can like talk your ear off if I'm comfortable with you. I'm shy at first, but once that barrier's down and I'm comfortable with you, I won't stop talking. But I just love it. I love having conversation, and I don't know, it's really funny, but I definitely think I do a good job at processing things and trying to find like the real reason in the lesson. And a lot of times I've realized too, it's like in the moment I don't understand it, and I'm like, I don't know why this is happening, so I use humor to cope with it. But then in like a week, a month, a year, like I look back and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, that's exactly why that happened, or that happened so this could happen, or that's what that, like I have those like aha moments and those realizations, and I just trust in that. And again, I think a huge reason for this is that I'm very strong in my faith now. I have a very good relationship with God and my faith. It can always grow. I'm not saying any of this is like where I want it to be, but it's pretty solid and strong right now, and I think I'm able to reflect and lean on that and trust in that to kind of give me the confidence when I'm going through something that isn't necessarily great, and I'm like, well, why is this happening? But yeah, I definitely trust in God's timing and everything, and that was another thing I wanted to work on this year, is trusting in God's timing. I'm an impatient person. I like to rush through things, and I've realized that that's not how to do it. That's not the way to do life. Like, you gotta just take things as they come, and I say, like, set yourself up to succeed and create the life you want, but it's like those achievements will, like, you'll unlock them when you're ready, and God knows that, and God will give you what he wants, what he knows that you need in the time that you need it. And you have to accept it. It's just an acceptance thing, I think, and trusting in him. And I think that comes with the stronger you have a connection with God, the easier that is. And I just like wholeheartedly everything. I'm like, I still have those moments though where I'm like impatient. Like, me and Taylor will be talking about dating and boys, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, when am I gonna meet my like husband? Like, when's that gonna happen? Like, I'm dating around and going on all these dates, like, why is nothing working? And it's like, could we just trust in his plan and trust in God? Like, your time will come when you're ready, and when he, like, whoever my future husband's ready. And so I'm like, all these difficulties and all these bad dates or bad conversations or just whatever, I'm like, you know what, there's a lesson in every single one of them, and I just have to be optimistic enough to like accept that and understand that, and then like view it as a lesson, and then I'm not as upset. Like, I'm kind of like, okay, like, it's funny, we'll laugh about it, I learned something. Who would have thought? I feel like my dating life's a joke, but again, it's just because I cope with humor and I just laugh about everything. But like, I've definitely learned so much about myself and what I expect, and then my boundaries and that stuff as well. And then the last thing I wanted to change and work on this year within mindset changes is just reading more. And I definitely think I read a lot the early year, and I read a lot in 2022. I feel like this year has been a lot more podcasts and a lot more of like media information and education, but I definitely think I accomplished that. Like I continue that. That's I think a thing in my life that it's kind of always a constant. It could be more, it could increase, it could always improve, but I definitely think I got really into podcasting this year, and I've learned a ton from podcasts and like business podcasts. But yeah, and now I just want to kind of touch over things that I've also accomplished this year that I was proud of myself for, because like I said, 2023 was a big year for me. And not necessarily in the sense of accomplishments, but more like self-improvement, like self-accomplishments. It's funny because I literally went to a psychic, which was back in February, and that might be kind of controversial because I know a lot of Christians don't trust in that. Like that's kind of like a spirituality thing versus God. And this was also too early in my like walk with Christ, and I feel like I didn't necessarily realize that that was maybe not the greatest thing ever, but it's also still interesting just because I think they do kind of go hand in hand. I think you can be spiritual and also trust in God, or like a higher power at the same time. But the psychic was really telling me how I was, back in February, I was 2/3 of the way through like my self-discovery like era of my life, and I needed to keep pressing into that and focusing on that. And I'm like, wow, full circle. I feel like I really did that this year. So yeah. Anyway, other accomplishments that I learned or accomplished, I guess, in 2023 were, my first one I wrote was inspiring others to begin running. And I guess I already talked about that, but that was just something I'm really like so happy, grateful, and proud of, because running changed my life. And like every person who started running because of me, like I inspired them to run, has like thanked me and told me their stories and how happy they are that they started. So it's been really cool. A lot of my friends too, like I feel like everyone and their mom this year ran a half marathon on social media, like all my online friends. So I'm like, it was a year for running for everyone, I guess, but it's been really cool. And I made a lot of new friends through running, and yeah, I'm really glad that I've been able to impact people in that way. Another thing I accomplished this year, and this is kind of maybe ironic, but I left companies that I didn't feel aligned with or that they didn't value me, and that was really hard and that was really scary, because it's a big risk. It's a financial like deduction that I hit, like a hit that I took, but it was definitely for the better, just because it opened my eyes up to like essentially online, like the companies that you represent also say a lot about you, and I don't want to work for anyone who I didn't feel valued by, because that's not uplifting my confidence in myself and making me feel any better when I feel like the company doesn't value me enough. So I had to kind of take a big step of courage and back away from those, and I'm really glad I did. And then another thing was I became much more intentional with who I spend my time with. Much more intentional. I have a small niche like group. Like I have some people I'm very, very, very close with, and then I have a lot of like friends, but I really am intentional with like who I'm spending my time with, who I'm like opening up to, who I'm using to inspire me and motivate me, because I've said it so many times, but who you spend your time with is a reflection of who you are as a person too. Like you'll begin to like pick up their tendencies, their habits, like you kind of become a piece of them, and so you're like a compilation of the people you spend your time with. So be very intentional and aware of who you do hang around and talk to and feed, thoughts and stuff with, because that impacts you. And so I definitely made a lot of different friendships and left some behind this year and had to cut some people off, and it's been for the better, but it was hard. It was definitely hard, but now each new friendship relationship that I get into, I have like a whole different perspective on it, and I think it's for the better. Like it's definitely like a mature approach to it. Another thing I did this year was begin Trca Twins. That's Jake and I's like TikTok and Instagram, and it's been so fun. And honestly, we went viral a few times, and it's really cool to like see that. It's kind of like the beginning stages of social media again for me, so it kind of reignited that light that I feel like I've been in the social media world for a couple years now, like 3-4 years, and I feel like re-beginning a new account and watching it grow and getting creative in a new sense has been really fun for me, and seeing my brother be able to do it too has been also really cool. And then I finally got to go to LA this year. I've been to California now 3 times, and all within this year, but it was something I'd always wanted to do, and I think it's really cool that I finally made it happen this year. I love California. I love Laguna and Orange Beach and Newport and Huntington Beach all so much. I don't necessarily love LA, but I've been there, and it's crazy because it's only like a 5-hour drive from me when I'm back down in Arizona, so I'm sure I'll go many more times in 2024. And then another thing was I found like a new training style and a new approach to fitness that I absolutely love and enjoy, It makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel so much more excited to work out. I feel like I kind of went through a rut within fitness last year and even maybe in the beginning of this year, but by incorporating running into my routines helped so much, because now I'm in the gym like 3 times a week and I'm running 3 times a week and I'm resting more and I'm doing less, but I feel better and I feel more fit and healthy than ever, and I feel like my physique is somewhere I finally wanted it to be. So it's been all good things within that, and I'm really glad I took more of like a hybrid approach. I do less HIIT, but I still do it when I want it. I just do a lot more running, and I'm focusing on targeting the areas that I actually want to grow rather than just full body hitting everything, because I was like creating a physique that I didn't necessarily want just because I felt like I was supposed to, you know? So yeah, that kind of changed this year. And then it was my first year being post-grad. It was my first year kind of in the workforce, and that was very scary, but I think I did it well. I handled it well. I learned a lot, still lots to learn. And I think this year is going to be big for my career, business-wise. I have a feeling, I just kind of have that sense that something will happen. I don't know if it'll be a new direction or a new account, but who knows? I don't know. I just have a feeling something within my career this year is going to kind of, something's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. And then I found a new passion for social media again, or refound. I like rediscovered it, I would say. And I've just incorporated a lot more cooking. And I kind of brought back the things that I love sharing in the beginning of social media. And I feel like along the way, and I've talked about this before, you kind of lose direction sometimes because you start meeting other creators and you see what they're doing and you kind of start going in different paths. And I feel like I finally got back on my own path, and I'm creating content that I love and I enjoy, and it's fun for me, and I don't feel exhausted by doing it. I don't feel forced by doing content, and yeah, it's just been a much better experience, and I feel like they're performing better, and I feel like you guys are engaging more and enjoying it more and getting more value out of it. And it just seems more true to me, and I think that's the most important thing for social media, is to be like authentic and true to yourself. So that makes me so happy, because I didn't even realize I wanted to do that this year, and I did. So yeah, thank God for that. Oh, this is a good one. I really learned that if nothing changes, nothing changes. That is my new mantra for the year. And it's true, because it's like, I feel like I'm very, in a lot of areas of my life, and maybe this is just me being like critical, but it's like, I feel like I don't make a lot of changes. I kind of feel like I'm like a steady plateau in a lot of like areas of my life, but I kind of had this epiphany, and I was like, well, if nothing changes, nothing's going to change. And I feel like I've just been continually doing the same stuff every single day, and nothing was changing that I was doing, so why do I expect new results? And so I've really been more intentional about my nutrition. I've been more intentional about my resting and my training. Like, I've been making changes in that area. I've been making changes in business and my content, and so I'm seeing changes in that finally, and it's refreshing. But it's just so true. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, if you don't change anything, how is the outcome going to be any different than what it is, you know? And then one thing I realized this year was I'm just a true dark-haired girly. I did the balayage last October in 2022, and then I had that pretty much all year until the summer of 2023. Not enough for me. I realized I'm just going to stick to my roots. I'm going back as much natural as I can. Like, this is my true color. I just have a little bit of bleach still in it if you're watching the video. If not, my hair is pretty dark. It always has been. And this is the first time you guys have seen me without my lash extensions. I had lash extensions for 5 years, going on 5 years straight. And I took them off 2-3 days ago, and I think I'm going to keep it off. Which is scary because I look like a boy. I'm convinced. It's kind of alarming at first, but I'm like, we need to build confidence within my natural beauty, even though I did just get my lips done. But I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of something I want to work, I don't know, we're gonna redo a little bit of the Chloe's look, but go more natural way this year, going into 2024 for sure. And another thing I accomplished this year that I wasn't planning on was launching a coaching business. I took clients one-on-one all summer. Now I just have a few clients. I don't do as much just because when I was moving it was a lot to handle, but I'm coaching a little bit right now, and that's been really cool, just starting my own business in that sense. Wasn't expecting to do, well, I'd always said I wanted to, but I didn't, it wasn't a goal of mine this year, and it happened, and I'm glad I did it. And then I stayed consistent on the podcast. I did. I'm proud of myself. This was a whole year of podcasting, and that's an accomplishment in itself, and I'm definitely going to continue it. I love podcasting, and I'm just going to kind of keep leveling it up and trying to do better every single week. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come for the Self-Made podcast in 2024. And then my last accomplishment, this is kind of a dumb one to end on, but I hit 100K on Instagram, I guess. That's always been a goal of mine. It happened early on in the year, and I've kind of stayed steady, but that's like a big, I guess, milestone within social media, so that was really cool. But yeah, that's everything that I accomplished in 2023, and now I kind of want to go over my goals for 2024 because I have lots of goals and it's going to be a really good year and I'm freaking excited for it. So we're going to get into my goals 2024 and what I'm setting my goals towards and what I hope to is to come for the year. And I kind of have a theme. I feel like 2023 was about transition and it was trying new things and it was getting out there, and I guess now I feel like I've learned a lot, I've pushed myself, and I feel like I had that transition, but now I want to like execute on it. And so 2024 is kind of like the shift year, and I feel like, does that make sense? I feel like that's my mindset with it. It's going to be the year I shift and I make that shift, because I kind of prepped myself this year and I'm like gonna make that shift. And so I guess it's kind of my adulting year. I feel like at 22 I'm gonna be 23 in July. Like I feel like a lot changes in those, from like 20 to 22 is a big change, and then I think from 22 to like 25 is also like a big change. I feel like your 20s are just so monumental, and like there's just a big difference like from your early 20s to like your late 20s, and I feel like I'm at that point in my life too where I just kind of feel like I want to mature a bit. I feel like I'm still a little bit of my college self, and I do like tendencies maybe that a college student would do. I dress kind of more so like a college student, and I want to kind of almost step into a more mature era. But people always tell me I'm more mature for my age than I am, but again, like I feel like I can improve. I always feel like I can improve, I don't know. So yeah, I guess the things that I want to learn more about and begin doing in 2024, first and foremost is just cortisol and inflammation. So last year was, I would say, hormone health. This is more specifically targeted towards cortisol and inflammation, because I definitely have a lot of inflammation in my body. My cortisol is definitely high because my stress is high. I think all of that will be fixed and improved once I kind of get my hormones figured out as well. But like I got like a detox massage at the Tox in Scottsdale like a couple weeks ago, and I could just tell, like I just carry a lot of water in certain areas and I don't feel great because I'm like always inflamed. So we're gonna be kind of getting into that this year, and being more proactive. Another thing I want to improve on is just my faith and my Christianity. I feel like I'm confidently a Christian now, and I'm really like proud and happy to say that. Like I share that content on social media, I talk about it a lot. It's so natural to me. I feel comfortable with it, but I want to like fully dive into it. Like I want to be more educated on it. I feel like the last year was me kind of learning about it and kind of like what's the term? It became a part of me, but now I want to become like confident in it and like really understand it and just dive deeper into like the Bible and the readings and understand it more, so like study it more, because I like being informed and I like feeling educated, and I think it would also benefit my faith and my connection with God too, just being more educated. So that's definitely something I want to get into. Like I go to church every Sunday. I love my church in Scottsdale. I'm so excited to take my family when they're home next week. My parents are going to Arizona, and that's like the one thing I've been like, I cannot wait to take you. And then I also go to some nights, it's called Rally. It's like a youth group kind of ordeal, and there's like younger students, and it's really cool. So I go to church. It's a big part of my life. I might start going to like the women's group. I just love it. I love putting myself in that environment. I feel so good. Anytime my life has felt empty or I feel confused or I feel anxious, it's like God is at the front of my life, and the second I put him back there and remember that and go to church, it's like everything just feels better. And I'm like, how did I live without him as like the forefront of my life? I don't know, but I just, yeah, that's something that will be very prevalent in 2024 for me, is prioritizing the time and education in my like faith. Another thing I want to begin learning more about and getting into is just fashion in general. This outfit is not giving fashion. This is giving very basic girl forward, but it's all I have here. Okay, I don't have a lot of stuff here in Iowa right now, but I just want to create my own sense of style. Like I said, I feel like I dress kind of like a college student, and I want to feel more mature. I want to dress a little more modestly, but like in a fun, edgy way. But then also, I don't know, I'm having like a crisis with my style, because it's like I feel like I would consider my like favorite type of style to be like streetwear. Like that's, I like on, if you pull up my Pinterest, it's a lot of streetwear. That's like what I gravitate towards. That's what I'm into. But it's like, I don't know if I want to identify necessarily fully with that. Like I feel like I like the more mature look. But then I'm like, is that me? I don't know. I do a lot of basics because I'm kind of confused right now on what to do with it. So I go very simple, like a plain jean and a plain t-shirt with like a jacket. is that good or bad? I don't know, but I like want to learn more about what I like and how to style it, and I want to learn how, like, what colors look good on me and what complements my body type, because that's one thing I've learned too. It's like, you may think something's cute, but it doesn't mean it's going to complement your body, so don't force it. So I don't know. I do want to put more emphasis on like actually like shopping with like a purpose and finding cool pieces and like styling them and getting more into it. Even in the gym, like I feel like my gym style is really good because I love it and I'm used to it. I don't put as much effort into like my day-to-day, and it's like I want to feel good. When I like my outfit, I'm so much more confident, and that reflects in a lot of areas of my life. So like it goes deeper than just like having cute clothes. Like it's really kind of like how I carry myself and portray myself, because it says a lot about a person. And I think I realized that like I want to look mature. I don't want to look like I'm dressed in all this like little itty bitty tiny clothes, you know. Anyway, that's just my take on fashion recently. And then another thing I want to do, I want to begin volunteering or just giving back more. I feel like I can do that at my church. I feel like that's kind of the avenue I'm going to take, is giving back and volunteering at church more, and then maybe just seeing where that guides me and leads me. I think it'd be so cool to do like a mission trip, but that's like, I feel like I need to begin kind of taking those steps and see where God leads me in that area. But I just like have a lot to give, and I feel like I want to start giving to like people in my community, and I feel like I want to be with people more, and I feel like I give a lot on social media, but it's like I want that interpersonal connection. So yeah, and I just want to get back more. I think it's really important to do that. So we'll begin doing that in 2024. And then I want to get more into like cooking actual meals and like chefing it up. Like I want to be a chef. Like I want to cook like a bomb dinner. Like I'm really adulting, I'm not kidding. Like I'm sick of just eating my canned chicken and like some bread or something. I don't know, like I want to like cook. I want to learn how to cook. I want to learn different styles of cooking and really like get creative and push myself in that sense, because I love being in the kitchen. I love creating something from start to finish and seeing it kind of come to life and enjoying it and having other people enjoy it with me. It's like a good way. It's how I share my love and show my love. And it's a selfish way for me to like feel love myself, but then I can also give it, so it's like a win-win, I feel like. But yeah, I'm creative, I'm happy, it's fun, I learned something. So yeah, cooking, definitely gonna be more cooking this year. And then the last thing I want to begin learning and doing more of is just getting ready every single day. I feel like it makes me feel better and again more confident. That's why I'm wanting to put more emphasis in my fashion, but also to like doing my hair, maybe creating a better makeup look. Like I don't really know how to do my makeup. I just throw on some like, I use tinted moisturizer as my foundation, some concealer, a little bronzer. That's it. Like that's all I do. So I want to learn like different looks for like when I go out, maybe like learn how to do eyeshadow. I don't know. Literally don't have any lashes anymore, so I feel like maybe I need to start giving more on the face if I'm not gonna have lash. I don't know. We'll see. But just yeah, getting ready more and just being ready for the day every day. I feel like it just makes me feel good, and I feel like I owe that to myself to feel good every day, you know. So yeah. And now we're moving on to things that I want to accomplish this year. This was, believe it or not, this was like the harder section for the year, because I feel like there's nothing that I'm like I haven't accomplished, that I didn't accomplish in 2023, because I feel like I did everything I wanted to do. So I was like, what do I want to do next? Because I have an issue too with like committing to something and then feeling I'm forcing myself to do it and then not wanting to do it and dreading it, you know. So I'm like, I had to tread carefully with this section, because I'm like, I want to push myself and set goals, because then you have to have a vision for what you want in life and you have to see it to know how to get there. But I'm like, I also feel like I'm in this area of my life where I'm like, I don't know what I want. Like I don't know what the next step is, because honestly I didn't expect myself to even get to where I am. So it's like, where else can I go? It's like, one, I gotta think bigger. I gotta like have bigger dreams, because it's like you can accomplish more than you think, Chloe. But then it's like, I don't know where else to go. I don't know what I want. I don't know. So anyway, the things that I do have on the list that I do know I want to accomplish is, like I said a little bit earlier, investing in a percentage of my savings like into a company, into a business, into something good that I can like, I don't know if it's gonna be like already a business that I can like help and start working alongside, or if it'll just be like an investment, or I don't know what it is, but I want to put my money intentionally somewhere to like help create and grow something. That's just kind of what I feel guided to do, I guess. Hopefully we can do that. And then I want to run more. I said I have more half marathons. I have 2 more in January and February. And then after that, I'm dabbling in the idea of getting into triathlons. I watched an Ironman a month or so ago in Tempe and I was fascinated. I think that's absolutely insane. I love pushing the limits of myself and seeing what I can accomplish, because it's always, your mind is much weaker than you think, or you have to have a strong mind. What am I saying? Your mind will quit before your body does, okay? So it's like, I want to learn how to like not let that get in my head. But then again, I am a power and like sprint athlete. Like that's where I feel like can like really succeed. So it's like, do I want to put all this effort into an area that I don't succeed so I can be good in everything? Or it's like, do I really focus in on what I'm good at and get really good at it? I don't know. So I'm like, do I want to like go and do the most like insane cardio endurance challenge ever when that's not even my strong suit at all? Maybe, because it'll teach me a lot and I'll be proud of myself for doing something I never thought I could do. Or do I want to find something that I can really be good at and super good at and also challenge myself? We'll see. So either I'm doing a triathlon, half an Ironman or something, or I'm gonna run a full marathon. I don't know if I would run a full marathon. I really don't. I might. We'll see. I don't know. I like to enjoy things and not force it, and I just love running so much that I'm nervous that I'll begin to resent running and dread it. You know, like right now, today I ran 10 miles. I feel great. I'm finally to a point where I can run 10 miles and it not drain me for the rest of the day and I don't feel achy and exhausted. So I'm like, I love it. Like a 10-mile run to me now is kind of just like not a big deal. Before it was a big deal. Now it's kind of just like, okay, we're doing 10 miles. So I love that I'm at that point. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to ruin it and like start running 15 and 20. It's like, we'll see. But I do just want to in general be more expansive with fitness and not just put all my eggs in one basket at the same time. It's like I like trying things and dabbling into other areas. I did that a lot last year though. I did like hot works. I got into Pilates and hot yoga, ran a half marathon. I bike a little bit. I hike a lot now. Like I do a lot of variety. But definitely I'm going to find a new challenge for the year. I want to accomplish something. And then another thing I want to accomplish this year is I want to, sorry, I'm yawning, oh my gosh, excuse me. I want to launch another form of like training program, more catered towards the style of training that I'm doing now. So a lot more like hybrid approach, either creating like a half marathon prep guide, or I want to create like just a hybrid program for like you guys to follow, because it's more what I do. I feel like my app right now is less of what I do because I don't lift 5 days a week anymore. I lift 3 and I run 3. So I want to maybe work on something in that realm of fitness. And then also I want to launch another ebook for meals and not desserts this year. So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. A new challenge, but we'll get her done. And then I want to start traveling to the East Coast. That's another goal I have, or something I want to accomplish. I've seen a lot of West Coast now. I've seen a little bit of the East Coast, but I would love to get out to like one of my best friends, Kayla, lives in Charleston, and I've talked about going to visit her for so long. Like I need to get out there and visit her. And she's actually gonna be traveling all over the world for the year. So maybe go visit her somewhere in like a different part of the world would be really cool. But I want to start traveling again once I'm fully in Arizona full time. I'll be coming home less, so I can start traveling outside of Iowa. This commute back and forth is getting a lot. It's my like 3rd or 4th time coming back and forth. So I want to start going elsewhere again because I do miss traveling. And the last thing I want to accomplish, I just want to be better at communicating. I feel like communication is really, really vital in relationships and in business. And I'm a shy person, like I said at first, and sometimes I have an issue communicating exactly how I'm thinking and feeling because I'm scared I'm gonna hurt someone else's feelings, because I'm a very sensitive person at heart. And I've learned a lot about myself. And I feel like the reason I have a hard time telling people, I can't tell people no. I can't tell people I don't like something. I can't do it because to me, I expect them to react how I would react. And I'm a hypersensitive person. I take things to heart. I used to. I feel like I kind of have a shield over that now, which probably isn't good, but I want to be better at communicating exactly how I think and feel, but being able to do it in a mature, respectful approach. I just want to learn how to articulate my words better. And even with like boys and stuff, it's like Taylor's taught me the power of just being honest and open and just be a straight shooter and communicate. And sometimes I'm like, I just rather not talk about it, but then I like get myself into this like spiral, and it's like, okay, if I would have just communicated exactly what I was thinking and feeling, it would have been so much simpler. So communication and business and work and friendships, relationships, every sort, I want to just work on and get better at, because I feel like I can communicate with the camera, but I can't sit here and look at someone and tell them exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. It's hard. So we'll see about that. But now moving on to mindset changes that I want to make in 2024. This is my favorite section for sure. Okay, so the first mindset change that I have for this year is just to continue to network and put myself out there and make new connections. Like I said, I did this a ton in 2022. I did this a ton in 2023, and I've really seen the benefit of it and the growth that I've had within doing that. And I think it's so important and so vital. So I definitely want to continue doing that and not just like settle for where I'm at. I definitely have a lot more connections to make in the world, in business, in friendships, in relationships. I don't know what avenue it'll take. Like this year it took a different avenue than it did in 2020. So maybe there's another way that I don't realize that'll make connections and meet people. I don't know. But I just know that I have it on my heart and my intention to like continue to do that and meet new people. And yeah, it's one of the best things I've ever done for myself. And so I'm definitely going to keep it as a priority every year. I just feel like maybe each year will kind of be in a different way, a different theme, you know? And then the next thing I want to change is I just want to enjoy life a bit more, and I want to get out of the house more. I started doing that this month for sure, and I think I've already seen like the benefit to it, and just being okay with, okay, Chloe, like we're actually going to spend the afternoon and go on a walk with your friend and get coffee and not think about work or not do this, and just be present and be okay with it and not feel guilt, because I feel like I would do these things, but I would feel guilty deep down and be like, I should be working, I should be editing, I should be doing this. Like, it's really hard, but I think I've gotten better at just being like, you need this. This is what you need. You are getting benefit from this socially, in your soul and your heart, like with your friends and your relationships, because those people, like friendships and relationships are just as important as success in business for me. It makes me a better person, and if I'm a better person, I can succeed better in business. It's a balancing act, and it's hard to do, but it's like, I just need to be okay with taking a break more often and like feeding what my heart and soul needs too, you know? And then the next thing that I want to kind of change is just focusing on meals. Again, this is another change that I've kind of made recently. But I used to be a snacker, and I wouldn't like sit down and make a meal. I would eat like a small little meal, but then I'd be hungry and I'd have a snack, and then I'd have another snack, and it was like not constant. And so I've really shifted it and have like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'll have my snacks in between, but it's less snacky. It's like I'm satiated by like actually a serving of like crackers, you know, or a protein bar or something, rather than being like, okay, I still need more, and then I eat like half the box. That's not healthy. So having my 3 meals a day for sure, and then from there kind of going on, but really prioritizing like really full balanced meals. And that's so duh, like you probably think I do that every day, but it's like I really don't prioritize that, and I don't hold myself accountable to it as I should, because it's one thing that I preach, but I don't always practice. I'm gonna be honest, it's hard. Like it is hard. Some of you might relate, but just being better at like creating a full meal every meal for the day. And I have been better at that, much better, and it's made a difference, a huge difference. Another change is just becoming more organized with my schedule, and having that blocking system. So I talked about that in one of my past episodes on, I believe it was the episode where I said you're doing too much, and I have this whole new like blocking system. So it's like I almost have like 4 days in one day, and it's like I take advantage of the time, my energy, life, and just the day-to-day. I take advantage of like where I best can like utilize certain aspects of my work and stuff. Like for example, in the mornings I do a lot of my heavy brain work because I'm fresh off of sleep. No one's really up. I don't have a lot of distractions yet of the day, and so I can really just like focus in and hammer in on work. And then I run like mid-morning because that's when I feel more energized, have my breakfast digested, but then I can still get it done and out of the way, and I don't have to think about it. And then I do more of my editing stuff after I get ready for the day. After I get sweaty for my run, I shower, get ready, and then I can film content and feel better in that content, that it's like more presentable. And then more of my life to-dos and errands at the end of the day. So just following a more structured pattern to like fulfill each area, and then I can break and rest and stuff in between when I finish that section, you know? And then again, I just want to read more and listen to more podcasts, because literally there's so much free freaking information in the world. It's like, why are we not taking more advantage of it, you know? Like, I want to spend more time researching and educating myself on topics that I'm passionate about, and reading more and listening to other perspectives, because there's so, like, I feel like most of my life altering moments that I'm like, whoa, or like shifts and changes that I've made have been because of like things I've read or heard. And so it's like, why don't I do that more? Like, I could just keep leveling up in that sense if I just fed my mind more of that information. So that's definitely something I'll continue to do more of. I like to do my morning walks on the treadmill. The days I don't run, I like to walk and listen to podcasts. And I'm gonna start like actually reading books more again, because I haven't been reading too much recently. And then I want to do less but put more into what I care about. So do less so I can do more. I just feel like I was overdoing it in every single aspect of my life, and I was spreading myself way too thin, that I wasn't really fully executing on anything. I was just kind of like half-assing everything in my life. And so it's like I'm cutting back on a lot of stuff but putting more into the things that I'm continuing to do, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's in honestly every area of my life, but mainly like work. And then another thing is just keeping my space clean and organized, because a clean space is like a clean mind in my brain. Like, how my area is a reflection of how I feel on the inside. And so I really want to prioritize that and just keep more tidy and clean and organized, like pick up more. Because sometimes I just like get in a rush and then I'm like, oh, I'll get it later, like I'm flying out the door. But it's like, okay, Chloe, just budget in an extra 5 minutes to like clean it up and just stay more on top of it, because I'm kind of a messy person. I'm not type A OCD, like I'm just not. Like, I can have a mess and it doesn't really drive me crazy, but then after a while I'm like, okay, actually that's been like on my mind and causing me stress and anxiety for no reason if I would have just like organized it. So I want to be better at just like doing it right then and there. And then 2 more and we're almost done with this episode. I know this is kind of a longer one, but lots to be said. This is like my favorite episode every year. I want to listen to my old one from last year and just see how far I've come. But one thing, and honestly I don't think I've really ever done this too much, but I don't want to hold grudges. I don't want to burn bridges, but I want to understand like when it's okay to step back. I realized something about me is I don't like holding grudges. I'm very easy to forgive, and that sometimes I feel like bites me in the butt, because I feel like it's almost like an okay, it gets like the green light to kind of like mistreat me maybe, but that's not what it is. It's just like I don't like holding any hatred or negativity in my heart, or I don't like tension between people. It drives me crazy. It causes a lot of anxiety, because it's like nothing, like I said, is really that serious, and if it is, then like we'll have that conversation. But like still, again, I want to be like on decent communication terms. Like if I see you in public, it's like, hey, like maybe it's just not like weird. Like I just hate that. It bothers me so much, because it's like I think too, like you never know what like that person's going through. You never know what that person's struggling with. So it's like I don't want to be another burden on somebody, because like if we can talk about it, I'll probably see your side and it's okay. Like I just think communication is so huge, but it's hard when the other people don't want to necessarily communicate, or they don't understand that. And I feel like that's when I kind of get walked over, because they take advantage of it rather than realizing like the value in it. And I don't like burning bridges, because it's like that will bite you in the butt. Like in the long run, in the future, it's like no one's really ever done me that dirty where I can't forgive them and like move on. Like it's life. People are gonna make mistakes. We're gonna mess up. I feel like people can learn from them, even if they did intentionally hurt me. It's like, all right, well, I hope that was a lesson and you don't do that to anyone else. Like I'll take it. I don't know. But to me, it's like I just don't want to hold grudges with people. I just don't like that. I just want everything, not that like, oh, I just want everything like happy and rainbows, but like I do. Like I feel like I don't want to be a negative energy in anyone's life, you know? Like I just want it to be like good. You know? I feel like that's simple, but anyway. And the last thing, my last mindset change is God is the answer. When I'm stressed, when I'm confused, when I'm anxious, like lean on God, like trust in God, pray to God. He answers your prayers in so many ways. And I said this in my last episode, but it's like I realized I feel like he works through me a lot, and I feel like I have a lot of realizations through him when I'm speaking, when I'm having conversations. I think that's why I'm such a talker, because I can talk through things, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, epiphany. I have a huge realization. I have like a huge aha moment, and it's like I think he gifts me with like that approach to it. He kind of uses my like words as a vessel through him maybe, and just reading the Bible, and I connect with a lot of things like while I'm reading, I'm like, whoa, or it'll like, I'll make that connection as things are happening in the future. But I just think like it makes life a lot better anytime anything I feel is out of my control or I'm stressed about. Like I've never been turned down, like let down by God. Like everything that I've turned to him for and put on him, it has always worked out, and it has always ended up being better than I expected. You know, it's like when you feel like it's so tough and it's so bad and there's no going back, it's always fixed. Like God always fixes and heals it and leads you down the better path, or it takes you a different way. And I just learned a lot of negative things that happen. It's like sometimes it just takes that for you to realize like God's probably tried multiple other things in your life, but you've like deflected them and negated them and went down different paths and turned against him. So sometimes it takes like a more of like a whoa, like in your face kind of thing to be like, whoa, okay, that's what it was. And yeah, so I'm just telling you, like I trust him in everything, and he changes everything. So yeah, I guess that's a good one to end it on. I don't really have much more to say other than 2024 is going to be, it's going to be a good year. I have a good feeling. I just like deep down like have like an intuitive feeling and thought that like it's just going to be good. It's going to be a shift year. It's going to be, I feel like this time next year I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be like, yeah, Chloe, you're right. I have no idea. I have no idea what's to come. I have no idea. I think that's the exciting thing about life, is like you have no idea what's coming and what's to change and happen, the good, the bad, the highs, the lows. But I think that's like such like the coolest part about just being a human, you know, you get to experience all that. But I'm excited for next year. Like I'm excited for 2024. I really, really am. And I'm excited for you guys to be along with me, and I love you guys so much, and I appreciate the support. But we have another year. We have another year to come, and another season of another season of this podcast. So yeah. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Happy 2024 and Merry Christmas, and we'll chat next week. Bye guys.